So like we're gonna get started in just a second. All right. Oh. All right. All right. Shalom Israel, Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barak the thumb to the brothers, Yahweh Shamar the thumb Bashem Yahushua to the sisters. We got Wednesday law class. All right. So we got Wednesday law. Hey, Shalom, Adawan. What's going on, sir? We got Wednesday law class. Today we're gonna be doing learning from our mistakes. Real important. I'll start off with a scripture first, and I'll get into what I mean by that. Let me get. What I'm gonna get is Matthew 24 and verse 12. Matthew 24 and verse 12. And it says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So this goes in with the topic as far as, you know what I mean, learning from your mistakes, enduring to the end. Not saying that, I mean, because when you're in this truth, even when you're in this truth, even when you're in position, when you have your name and you have your title and your ranking and everything like that, it's not saying that, you know what I mean, you can't fall into making a mistake, or, you know what I mean, putting yourself in preparation before you make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Now, the point of the matter is to endure into the end, right? Enduring doesn't mean that you're just sitting there waiting. You know what I mean? You're not just sitting there waiting for Christ to return. You know what I mean? You're enduring to the end means that you're going to face certain challenges. You're going to face certain battles that are going to come to you in a physical form, in a spiritual form, in a mental form. All these things are going to come to you for you to be able to, you know what I mean, battle those things out, or to suffer it, or just to suffer it. Now, it's not for you to just suffer to suffer. It's for you to understand that something within yourself needs to be fixed, needs to be tightened up, right? The things that you're going to suffer are going to be the things that put you through the fire to reform you into how is it, just being like gold, you know what I mean, going through the fire and being remade like gold, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to come out of this situation perfect as long as you're able to endure what things come against you, because putting yourself out there known to the enemy, which is, you know what I mean, things that come against you, your adversaries, you know what I'm saying, putting yourself against those things are going to make you known to those things that they're going to really open it up to yourself as well. You know what I mean? Knowing things about yourself as well that you didn't know that you needed to fix. You know what I'm saying? So it's always, man, it's always the best tool or the best weapon is to always try to stay two steps ahead of yourself. You know what I'm saying? As far as the things that you know you need to fix, the things that you know that are like, how can I say? It's just not a righteous thing to do, being a priest. You know what I'm saying? Or being someone who studies under the truth or follows the law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? Head of whatever thing that could come against you, right? And that's a way of being prepared within the battles that you're going to have to face. So let's see, certain examples, like, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. Say you're a person who likes to dwell within your sadness. You know what I'm saying? If you're a person that likes to dwell within your sadness, then you're leaving yourself open. You're leaving yourself a target for yourself to be attacked. You know what I'm saying? The best thing is to always stay amongst brotherhood. Always stay amongst, you know what I mean? Always stay within the spirit. You know what I'm saying? The zeal of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? You can't just sit around and just want to dwell on all the things that come against you and feel like that there's no hope left. You know what I mean? Those things could be used as a tool that can be used against you when you just try to keep everything to yourself and you just want to try to, you know what I mean, go through your things alone. And you know what I mean? Like, if you feel like you're strong enough to be able to deal with the situation, then hey, but if you feel like these things are consuming you and these things are becoming so great to the point where you feel like, you know what I mean, you can't go on to the next level because of those things holding you back, and maybe get counsel. You know what I'm saying? It's best for you to way to, you know what I mean, keep yourself occupied within this truth. You know what I'm saying? Because those things can consume you, and they could turn you in worldly things. You know what I'm saying? But those are like certain examples of making mistakes. It's good to learn from your mistake. But the whole point of the whole situation is that, you know what I mean, that's the best thing about our holy documents, you know what I mean, about these scriptures, because these that not just the good things of Israel or the good prophecies that are come to pass, but it's also giving us the things that we messed up on. And it's damn near every pioneer had some point of messing up. Not all of them, but damn near all of them. You know what I mean? Had some point of where they messed up at. You know what I mean? And we're going to get into those particular examples in a minute. But let's see. Let's see. Let's go to 2 Timothy 2 and 3. 2 Timothy 2 and 3. 2 Timothy 2 and 3 says, though therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Mashiach, right? So, okay, you have to endure hardness. Okay, so going back into enduring, you know what I mean? The whole point of the whole enduring thing is that you're going to make mistakes, but it's good for you to learn from those mistakes and tighten up and fix those things before Yahweh comes. You know what I'm saying? Because enduring to the end means that, yeah, you're suffering to the end, but also you're learning from your mistakes also. You don't continue to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. You know what I mean? You don't continue to keep getting yourself whooped in the same battle until Yahweh comes. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to smarten up, tighten up. You know what I mean? Tighten up, smarten up, put some discipline on yourself, and fix those things that need to be fixed before it becomes a situation that you're going to regret, that leads you back into the world, or that leads you back into sin. You know what I mean? Tighten it up. You know what I mean? Learn from your mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Tighten up, learn from your mistakes, tighten up, and do better on your next run around. Because it's not like you're not going to make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to make a mistake. But the thing about it is, from learning from your mistake and moving past that mistake and never going back to that mistake again. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of the situation. Hey, Shalom, Halak, what's going on, sir? What's going on, Salaki? But yeah, so it's like you just can't keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. You know what I mean? That's just being ignorant. You know what I mean? When you sit over here and you know that something in your life is holding you back, something is preventing you from being as perfect as you can be when it comes to serving His truth. When you sit over here and you continue to continuously allow those things to keep coming over you and holding you back, then you're being ignorant. You're being as ignorant as, I can't even say you're being ignorant. You're just being stupid. You're being stupid because that if you know that if you get rid of these things, if you stop these things, then they could possibly put you in a position where, you know what I mean, where you already on the next level as far as when it comes to spiritually and mentally. You know what I mean? You're on the next level, you're stronger, you feel better. You know what I'm saying? Salakia. I don't have that link. I would just check in with your camp leader, depending on what area you are, what area you're in. Just check in with your camp leader and just let them know, you know what I mean, that what days you're attending class. I don't have that link on me right now. Okay. So let's get into it. Let's see. What can we get into first? So, you know what I mean, you got to endure hardships like a good soldier. You have to know when you're being attacked. You know what I'm saying? A soldier knows when he's in battle and he's being attacked. It's not like, you know what I mean, he's just out somewhere and he is just ambushed and, you know what I mean, and he doesn't know what's going on. The soldier knows when he's in enemy territory. So when you're in that territory where you're feeling like, you know what I mean, the downs and the outs are the go-to thing. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I got hit with something that seems unbearable. So now I'm just about to just linger into it and just, oh, you know what I mean? If a thought comes in your mind, if something that you know that is not of the Lord comes in your mind, says like a spirit of, like I gotta say, the spirit of fear, of freaking, you know what I mean, of doubt, of, you know what I mean, sadness, like all those things are unclean spirits. You know what I'm saying? All those things are things that to attack you. You know what I mean? And if you dwell within those things, then it's going to lead you to doing something that you don't need to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's always good, you know what I mean, to fight back whenever you get those senses of hopelessness, whenever you get those senses of depression. You know what I mean? You have to fight back. You have to think righteous things. You have to know in your spirit that regardless of whatever's coming against you, you know what I mean, you're gonna be able to battle it out. You know what I mean? You're gonna be able to battle it out into the end like a good soldier. And at the end of the day, you know what I mean, it's never gonna be too much. You know what I mean? It's not ever gonna be too much, even though there are certain particular things that, you know what I mean, I can't sit here and say, oh yeah, well, that ain't too much or anything like that. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that it's a mission that you're on right now. Now you're on a mission. You know what I mean? Those who serve the Lord the right way and know exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It's not all, you know what I mean, singing and dancing and two-stepping and, you know what I mean, dressing in nice suits and stuff like that. No. You know what I mean? Majority of the time period, you're going to be warring. You're going to be battling. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be facing trials. You're going to be facing things that are going to try to sneak up on you and, you know what I mean, attack you from the rear. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if you're always 2 steps ahead, nobody can sucker punch you if you already ahead of the game already. If you already know where the attack is coming from, you got to get on top of that attack ASAP. You know what I'm saying? Get on top of it. Don't sit there and wait. Don't sit there and, you know what I mean, feel like, oh yeah, well, this came against me, so I'm just about to sit back and just let it happen. No, get on top of whatever you need to get on top of. And if it feels like it's so much on you, then, you know what I mean, that's what counsel is for. You know what I'm saying? That's what checking in with people who are over you is for. You know what I'm saying? Because some things might feel like it might be too much. Some things might feel like it, some things might be too much for you to deal with it at that particular moment. But the thing about it is, you have help for that. It's not like you're just about to sit there and just accept death. You know what I'm saying? No, you have counsel. You have, you know what I mean. There's so many things that you have within this truth that, you know what I mean, you can fight back with. So like it's hot up in here. But yeah, so so let's go. Let's go into let's see. Let's get into King David and Bathsheba. Now, you can start off with King David because King David was one of the mightiest, you know what I'm saying? Like, King David was just what his name says, a king, you know what I mean? He was so mighty that, you know what I mean, it was prophesied that the Messiah would come through his bloodline, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, he had to learn from his mistakes also. You know what I'm saying? 2 Samuel chapter 11. Let's see. Let me get to 2 Samuel's. Now, King David came on the scene. You know what I mean? He became king after Saul. You know what I mean? And Saul, he made a mistake also. You know what I mean? Saul became greedy. You know what I mean? He became envious. Yep, that's true too, so that's a fact too. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to become the situation. You want to be a weapon at all times. You know what I'm saying? Don't just sit back and allow yourself to just be attacked. You know what I mean? Be a soldier. You know what I mean? Fight back. You know what I mean? Don't just sit there and just, you know what I mean, play possum. You know what I'm saying? Don't just lay down and play possum. Like get up and fight back. But I'm gonna go to 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel 11. Okay. So yeah. So King David, well, King Saul, you know what I mean, he became greedy, he became envious. He was, I don't want to get into the whole thing, but he was ordered to do something that the Most High ordered him to do, and he didn't do it. He decided to. He was supposed to kill all the Amalekites, and he decided to spare one because of the promises that he gave him of what he would give him. But the Lord said that everybody had to die. The Lord said everybody and everything had to die, like spare nothing, because of the sins that they committed during the days of Moses. You know what I'm saying? When they attacked us from the rear, and attack the old people, the women and children, because that's where we would keep. That's where we would keep. That's where we would keep the youngins, the women and children in the back. And Amalek waited until we passed and then attacked us from behind, where the most vulnerable we're at. You know what I'm saying? So for discipline for their nation, the Most High ordered Saul to kill each and every one of them in that army. Um, but Saul decided to leave at least one man, and that one man was the king. But Sam, Samuel came and told, and he warned them that because of what he did, you know what I mean, the kingdom was going to be ripped from you. You know what I'm saying? You're going to lose the kingdom because of the mistake you made of disobeying the Most High. And he did a couple more things, but all in all, you know what I mean, that was the end all be all when he decided to spare Amalek during that time period. So let's see, him making that mistake. You know what I mean? Then King David was prophesied to be the king of Israel. So the Lord wasn't with Saul no more. But all in all, that wasn't Saul's first mistake. You know what I mean? Saul made a lot of mistakes, but all in all, he wasn't learning from his mistakes. He kept on being ignorant and doing what he was doing. You know what I mean? And he should have did better, but he chose not to. But that's why it's important to learn from your mistakes, because you don't want to be put in a position where the Most High loses that grace for you. You know what I'm saying? He loses that patience for you, and it's just that time. It's just like, you know what, you're not gonna learn. So you know what I mean. It's just time to do away with you. Now, even though I mean King David, even though David came to take Saul's place, David made mistakes, actual mistakes. But I mean, we're gonna get into one right now. Let's get into him and Bathsheba. So the book of Second Samuel, chapter 11 and verse 1. It says, and it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem. And it came to pass in an evening tide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman. Now, this is where he's making a mistake at. He doesn't see the mistake yet, but he's about to see it in a second, because he's gazing at a woman and he doesn't know who this woman is, and he's watching her during the time period she's washing herself, and now he's going to make the mistake first of all, he's being a creep looking at her wash herself, but you know what I'm saying. Now he's going to figure out that she's married, and she's still not going to care. And not only is she going to be married, she's going to be married to one of his, you know what I mean, most faithful soldiers. You know what I'm saying? One of his most faithful guards. So it says, and one said, is not this Bathsheba? Okay, so this is where he's getting the warning. The daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah, and Salakia, Hittite, Salakia, and David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness. So he was sent the warning, and he was told that, you know what I mean, exactly who she was, but David still called for her and still had sex with her. Now, her being purified from her cleanness, that's not her being safe to sleep with. That's not what it's saying. You know what I'm saying? And it says, and she returned unto her house, and the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. So not only did David, mess up as far as sleeping with another man's wife, but he messed up and had to deal with the consequences of the situation with her being pregnant after he slept with her. So now he's really panicking because he's thinking like he just did something and just got away with it. Nope. Now he's got to deal with the situation where this situation is going to get out. You know what I mean? Because obviously it's not her husband's because he ain't been home. You know what I mean? He's out serving the king. So who's the baby going to belong to? It's going to belong to whoever she slept with. So she's pregnant by David. Let's see. Where I leave off at. And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. And David sent to Joab, saying, send me your Salakia. Uriah and Salakia, the Hittite. That's not his name. I'm trying to remember how you say it. Salakia. Is it Uriah? We'll say Uriah for right now. And Joab sent Uriah to David. And when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. And David said to Uriah, go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mess of meat from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and went not down to his house. So Uriah's not leaving his post. He's staying. King David's trying to be slick by sending him to his house so he can lay with his wife. And when he lays with his wife, he can think that baby is his. You know what I mean? So he's not leaving his post though. He's staying guard, and he's staying in his job as far as protecting the king. So let's just keep going into it. And let's go down to verse 12. And David said to Uriah, tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart. So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and the morrow. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. Okay, let me get into the part where David sends him off to war. Okay, and it says, let's go to verse 18. It says, then Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war, and charged the messenger, saying, when thou hast made an end of telling the matters of the war unto the king, and if so be that the king's wrath arise, and he say unto thee, wherefore approach ye so nigh unto the city, when ye did fight, knew ye not that they would shoot from the wall, who smote Abimelech the son of Jerubusheth? Did not a woman cast a piece of millstone upon him from the wall, that he died in the beds? Why went ye nigh the wall? Then say thou, thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So David's literally sent him out to be like, he sent him out to the battle to be like first, like, how can I say? What's it called when you're in the front line? He literally sent him out to war to be in the front line to be able to get killed altogether. So he wouldn't have to deal with the fact of not only a man knowing that he slept with his wife and that she's pregnant with baby, but his reputation in general, being the king, you know what I'm saying? Because he tried to get rid of, pretty much David's trying to sweep the evidence under the rug. You know what I mean? Okay, well, if one of my brothers die, which, you know what I mean, if a brother dies, then, you know what I mean, I could just have his wife, and then it'll make it seem as if she got pregnant pretty much the time period that, you know what I mean, during the time period of after his death. But what David did was David completely sinned against the Lord. I mean, he slept with a brother's wife, and he sent that brother out to be killed because he didn't want to have to deal with the consequences of, you know what I mean, having that reputation of sleeping with another brother's wife. So the front line, yep, that's right. So so okay. So David made a mistake. David has to pay for that mistake by the child being killed. You know what I'm saying? The child had to die because David made a mistake. David went through a phase of depression, you know what I mean, was begging the Lord day and night, you know what I mean, fasting, trying to get the Lord to not kill that child. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, at the end of the day, David had to face the consequences of his mistake. Now, you know what I mean, the same thing as we all. You know what I mean? When we make a mistake, you have to deal with the consequences of making that mistake. And not just that, you know what I'm saying? You have to accept the fact that consequence is from the mistake that you made. Now, freaking was it Ezekiel? You know what I mean? When his wife had to die because he wasn't following order, that he had to go do a particular thing that the Most High ordered him to do. He wasn't doing it because of the own sake of his love for his wife. He didn't want to leave her. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, because he didn't go do what he was supposed to do, he lost the thing. He lost his wife altogether. You know what I mean? His wife had to die, and not only did she have to die, he couldn't even mourn her because he knew he made a mistake. The Lord said, "Don't even cry." You know what I'm saying? Like you can't even mourn this person that you love because you made the mistake as far as not doing what I ordered you to do. You know what I mean? Uh, um, Not doing what I wanted you to do when I ordered you to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's really, really important to always follow orders. You know what I'm saying? Follow your order. And you know what I'm saying? That was a mistake on Ezekiel's part. Now, who else we got? We got, let's see, who could we go to? Well, you had Samson. Samson made a mistake of sleeping with heathen women. King Solomon sleeping with heathen women. Um, who else? I mean, even Jacob made a mistake by, I mean, treating one of his wives better than his other wife. You know what I'm saying? And not treating them equal. Let's see. Let me see. Let's go to. Let's see. Um. We're gonna go to First Peter's. It's not in First Peter's. I think it's in Matthew's. Let's see. Or is it in John? We're gonna go to when Peter. Let's go to Peter. Uh, let's see. It's Luke 22:61. So, only reason I go into these brothers because they're just all different examples of people making mistakes and learning from their mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like David had to learn from his mistakes, and David, you know what I mean? Uh, he said Aeneas and his wife. Um, Let me see. What did I say again? I said Luke 22:61. 22 and 61. All right. Okay, so is it 61? Yeah. So Luke 22 and 61. Let's see if this is it. Where Peter denies Christ. Okay, so this is um, okay, so we'll start at 59. We'll start at 59. Okay, so Luke 22 and 59. We're gonna get into Peter denying Christ. You know what I'm saying? This was also something that Peter learned from, you know what I mean? Because Peter went from being a person who was, you know what I mean, afraid and how can I say? I don't want to say traitor. He wasn't a traitor, but he folded. Peter folded, you know what I mean? But he learned from his mistake, and then he became the prophet that he became to be. You know what I'm saying? He became a thoroughbred. Like he was solid after that. But he learned from his mistake, and Christ told him what he was going to do. You know what I'm saying? Peter was riding for Christ, but Christ was even telling him, like, you know what I mean, even in that day, like, you're going to deny me 3 times. You know what I'm saying? And this is when it happens. So Luke 22 and 59, and about the space of 1 hour after another, confidently affirmed, saying, of a truth, this fellow also was with him. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Saying, of a truth, this fellow also was with him, for he is a Galilean. And Peter said, man, I know not what thou sayest. And immediately, while he yet spake, the cock crew. Okay, so that was the 3rd time he denied him. And the Lord turned and looked upon Peter. And Peter remembered the word of the Lord, how he said unto him, before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. So, you know what I mean, at that time period, Christ even looked at him like, you know what I mean, like, this is what I was talking about. But Peter made a mistake. He folded, and, you know what I mean, after that, you know what I mean, Peter just, I mean, he went off and became solid after that. You know what I mean? But he made a mistake. Just like many of us are going to make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Many of us are going to make mistakes. Okay, so this posted in the chat the link to check in for attendance. So if you're going to check in for your attendance, the link is in the chat right now. But okay, so yeah, so it's just showing that you're going to make a mistake, but how you handle that situation is going to determine on what's going to happen next with you. You can either let that situation consume you. You can just lay down and just accept all of those things that come against you. You can just, you know what I mean, feel like, oh yeah, well, I'm not this and I'm not that and I'm just no good and whoop-de-whoop. You can keep on saying these things to yourself, allowing the enemy to keep attacking you, or you can be like Peter. You know what I mean? You can realize a mistake you made and you can get up and you can fight back. You know what I'm saying? Fight, learn from that mistake and get up and get back to war. You know what I'm saying? Like freaking, what is it? You know what I mean? Samson realized his mistake. You know what I mean? As far as him freaking, you know what I mean, giving up his weakness to strange women. You know what I'm saying? He learned from his mistake and he got up and he got fighting, and he fought until the lives of his enemies were gone and even his life was gone. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he got back up and got swinging. You know what I mean? Even being in prison, you know what I mean, with his eyes gouged out. You know what I'm saying? He still got up and, you know what I mean, got his last battle on. But, you know what I mean, it's up for you to sit there if you do make a mistake, you know what I'm saying? And just don't allow the enemy to use you and work what's going on in your mind and make you feel like you're lesser than, or that, you know what I mean, the situation can't get no better. You know what I mean? And able to be successful, you're gonna have to have learning experiences. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what it is. It's a learning experience. You gotta have an experience that is a situation that is uncomfortable to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it puts you in a space where you're uncomfortable. Now, how you come back, that's going to be, you know what I mean? That's going to be your what's that? I want, like, the comeback story. That's going to be your that's going to be exactly how your name is remembered. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be either one who laid down and died, or you're going to be the one who sat there and decided that I'm just going to continue to keep fighting. You know what I mean? I'm not going to allow these things that, hey, Shalom, Lord Christ, what's going on, sir? Shalom, Lord Christ, I don't want. I'm not going to allow these things to consume me as far as a mistake that I made. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get up and I'm going to be perfect to my best ability. You know what I'm saying? As being perfect. I'm going to now prove myself a winner, other than proving myself that I can be able to fall under our enemy's boot. You know what I'm saying? Fall under our enemy's plot, his plot twist, and everything that he brings to you to make you feel like you need to do certain things or act a certain type of way that's going to put you in a position where you make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the point of it all. Freaking who else? God dang, who else? Okay, so we got Paul. I mean, Paul's situation. Paul's situation. Let's see. Paul, he persecuted and killed prophets of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? He killed Stephen. I mean, he rose against people who served Christ, and that within itself, you know what I mean, he didn't allow he didn't allow his mistake to stop him from doing what Christ appointed him to do. You know what I'm saying? Christ appointed him to do a certain mission, and he did that mission even after all of the wrong that he did towards Christ's people. You know what I'm saying? God's people. So, I mean, what he did was he learned from his mistake. He turned from his ways. And what he did was he came back even harder and even stronger when it came to serving Christ, more so than it did when he was, you know what I mean, when he was making mistakes. So that's exactly how we want to hold ourselves accountable and sustain ourselves within the truth. You don't want to just make a mistake and then it's just like that's the end all be all. It's just like, oh man, it ain't never gonna get better. Because that's what the enemy's gonna tell you. You know what I mean? The enemy's gonna tell you that you're weak and that you're unable of being like this person or your mindset or your spirit is not, or your zeal is not strong enough to be able to not make a mistake. That's not true. Well, you know what I mean? Those are things that your enemy is going to try to tell you, but all these things are completely false narratives, and they're used to try to get to your not only to get in your spirit, like as far as like your zeal of how you hold yourself and how you maintain your fire as far as serving the Most High, but also just being in your thoughts. You know what I mean? Consistently, like, you know what I mean? These unclean spirits are going to try to be in your thoughts consistently. They're going to try to corrupt the way you think, and you're going to think these negative things all the time. As long as you allow yourself not to fight back, as long as you allow yourself not to war back, these things are going to continue to keep corrupting your spirit, keep corrupting your mind. You know what I'm saying? Keep having you think the same things, and not just that. Certain things will happen in your life that test you, in those certain situations of feeling a certain type of way. You know what I mean? Like certain things are going to happen in your life where it feels like, oh yeah, well, you know what I mean? I think that brother just trespassed against me. You know what I mean? Cat was saying something real heavy last week, and you're saying like, don't make like assumptions. You know what I mean? Don't assume that something's happening. Always think of the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? Always think of the benefit of a doubt, especially when it comes to brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the first thing that's the first thing that Satan tries to attack is you know what I mean, your strength in brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? Make you feel as if the truth isn't the truth. You know what I'm saying? Make you feel like the Most High isn't what He really is. That like the Most High is like just something that doesn't really like, you know what I mean, rocks with certain people, but don't rock with you like that. Like these certain thoughts will come to your head, and you will think these things as situations go on, but really it's just for you to tighten up, tighten the hell up. You know what I'm saying? Your thoughts can pull you out the truth. Con on con. You know what I'm saying? Your thoughts can definitely pull you out of the truth. Your thoughts can make you feel like, oh yeah, well, things would just be better off if I wasn't here. You know what I mean? And you'll think that to yourself, and that thought will become repetition. Like that thought will keep passing through your mind. Like maybe I'll just be better off if I wasn't in here. Maybe I'll be better off if I was smoking weed. Maybe I'll be better off if I was able to light this cigarette up. Maybe I'll be better off if I was able to light these drugs, this crack, this weed. And maybe if I'll be better off if I was just to step back into the world and not have to fight these battles. You know what I mean? But the battles don't get better once you leave the truth. You know what I mean? The battles actually get worse because now you're no longer protected. You're no longer able to be protected now. Now you don't have the Most High's protection. Now you are food for any wicked spirit that comes against you. You know what I mean? So not only does it not get better, but it gets worse. You know what I'm saying? So it's better to stay where you're actually protected. As much as you even feel like you're not being protected, you know what I'm saying? It's I don't know, like as much as you may feel like that you're not being protected, you are protected in this truth. You know what I'm saying? If you're following God's statutes and commandments and you're in this body, you know what I'm saying, you are protected under the Most High. You know what I'm saying? You're protected. And the Most High gives you these scriptures of warnings that, you know what I mean, that you're going to have to, you know what I mean, endure and still be a good soldier. It's not like the Christian church where you just feel like everything is just going to be all rainbows and kittens as soon as you step into this truth. No, life is going to be warfare. You know what I mean? Life is going to be warfare. Life is going to be a battle. It's just depending on how you handle those battles is shows what type of soldier you are. You know what I'm saying? And once again, not saying that you won't make a mistake. Not saying that you won't make a mistake, but how you going to handle it after you make that mistake? Oops. How are you going to put yourself in a position where you don't make that mistake again? You know what I'm saying? The only way of doing that is, you know what I mean, learning from your mistake and preparing yourself for wartime if that situation ever comes against you again. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not going to come back any easier. It's going to come back even stronger. You know what I mean? But you just got to be ready for it. Okay, so I had a couple of scriptures in here. Hold on, let me see. I'll skip past all my notes. Let's see. Romans 8 and 6. Romans 8 and 6 says, "For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace." So going back to like the ways, you know what I mean, how your thoughts can pull you out of the truth, you know what I'm saying? If you're carnal minded, if you're thinking carnally, then you're thinking yourself into death. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna lead yourself straight into the direction of death if your mind is directed into the route of being carnal. You know what I'm saying? You don't. Let me see. Hold on. Let me keep going. So it says, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. But because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. So then okay, so like I'll just end it right there. But so for you to be carnally minded, it means that you just thinking, your mind is just all set based on like carnal things. You know what I mean? Like you could be still thinking like how you used to think when you was in the world. Like, oh yeah, well I'm about to do this and that. I really want to do this and that. I ain't gonna do it, but I want to do this and that. I want to do this and that. Or you just leading yourself into like feeling like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's see, the way that we used to move back in like when we was in the world. Like, I mean, the whole drug culture, the whole, you know what I mean, horror culture, the whole, you know what I mean, um, thug culture, the whole, all those carnally minded things. You know what I'm saying? Carnally minded things where, you know what I mean, like you could be in the truth and still have that, you know what I mean, that mindset that you used to have back when you was in the world. And you having your name, you having your rank, you having all those things like that doesn't stop certain things from still crossing your mind. You know what I mean? Certain characteristics from still passing by when you go to your old neighborhoods or anything like that. It doesn't stop those things. You know what I mean, the mission is to act the same way that you do when you're in here with your brothers or with your Ottawa. You know what I mean? Act like that the same way you act when you're not around them. When you're out and around your old neighborhoods, around the family reunions or anything like that. Like, you want to act the same way that you do here around others who may not even understand it. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, that leaves you in a position where you are not thinking like they think. You're not feeling the things that they feel. Where it comes towards, oh, I don't want to make them um, feel like they can't invite me nowhere because I don't want to celebrate birthdays, or I don't want them to feel like they're ashamed of me because I'm not there for my kids' birthday party. You know what I mean? Things like that. You know what I'm saying? Certain situations you don't want to you want to stay within the realms of following the law, statutes, and commandments. Always stay in the zeal of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And if you feel like anything is pushing you away from those things, you gotta push yourself right back, and that's where the war begins, because your carnal mind is going to want you to be sad, be depressed. Your carnal mind is going to want you to just you know what I mean, mope around and just take it. Your carnal mind is going to want you to just sit back and just feel like, oh, things ain't going to get better. Your carnal mind is going to want you to, like, you know what I mean, not fight back. Your carnal mind is just going to want you to just be like, oh, see, it's only me that's happening to. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that your carnal mind is gonna lead you into, and those are the things that are gonna lead you into death. Because what are you gonna do? You either gonna make a mistake, and it might be a mistake that, you know what I mean, you probably not able to turn around and you know what I mean, receive that grace from. You know what I'm saying? It might be one of those situations where you messed up so bad that, you know what I mean, the only wages of it is for death. You know what I'm saying? That's why you want to continue to always be in the mindset, regardless of whatever, however hard your battle may seem it is. You want to continue. You want to be in the mindset where I'm not going to fail. You know what I mean? I'm just not going to fail. Now I might be down and out, I might be beat up or whatever, but I'm still not about to give up and get back into, you know what I mean, getting led where my mind wants me to be led at, which is, you know what I mean, it might just seem better if I just go smoke this blunt. You know what I mean? Maybe life would just get a little bit better if I go smoke this blunt, or maybe life would get a little bit better if I go pay for this whore real quick and just, you know what I mean, like, maybe life would get a little bit better if I just, you know what I mean, uh, smoke this cigarette and just let the stress go away. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be, those are gonna be sins that are gonna lead you to death. You know what I'm saying? and you don't want to make a mistake that is going to be the last mistake you make. You know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, David got a chance. Peter had a chance. I mean, Samson, unfortunately, you know what I mean, his mistake led into the situation of him having to die. You know what I'm saying? But that's because he got too comfortable within what he was doing. He felt like those heathen women really loved him. Shoot, King Solomon felt like those heathen women really loved him. You know what I mean? That's why he built altars for their gods. You know what I'm saying? That's how much he loved them so much. They gave them their own altars just to be able to serve their own gods. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, at the end of the day, I mean, those situations, those mistakes led to some really terrible consequences. And that's why it's always good to just, you know what I mean, what I was saying before about staying 2 steps ahead of the game and always warn back, because, you know what I mean, you don't want to have to deal with the consequence of something that you could have avoided. You know what I'm saying? Don't put yourself in a situation where you're dealing with a consequence of something that could have been avoided, that all you had to do was just sit back and just battle back. Just battle back, or just endure it. Whatever happens, it's just something for you to go through. I mean, it was something for you to go through. Now, I mean, like I said, I'm not one to sit here and say which is which. I mean, because me being in this lifestyle, I know that there's certain things that, I mean, you want to get up and face, and there's certain things that, you know what I mean, you just gonna have to sit there and just wait to see what happens. You know what I mean? I know that from my own experience, but what I'm saying is just whatever the situation is, there's a route that you can take to lead yourself into the wrong path, and there's a route that you can take to lead yourself into the right path. The best thing that you can do, you know what I mean, is seek counsel from the ones above you. That's the first thing I would say. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean, I know how it is when you can be so clouded with, you know what I mean, wicked thoughts to the point where it's just like you don't know where to find your strength at to be able to fight back. So what do? You know what I mean? You suit up. You suit up and you start, you know what I mean, bringing more soldiers to the battle. You know what I'm saying? And going to somebody that is over you is always going to be the best situation, because, you know what I mean, if it's something that he doesn't have the answer to, then it's going to be somebody else that has the answer to the situation. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would say do first. You know what I'm saying? Well, first battle, fight back first. You know what I mean? Then, you know what I mean, as you're going to go recruit, you know what I mean, more warriors to the battle, but fight back as you're doing that as well. Don't just sit there and just be like all beaten and then still try to, you know what I mean, seek counsel, because you probably won't even, you know what I mean, you probably won't even deal with whatever it really is that you need to deal with, because you too beat up. So war back at all times, you know what I'm saying? Understand when it's time to fight, and understand when it's time to just, you know what I mean, all right, sit back, take that punch, and then, you know what I mean, let's move forward from there. But let's see. Let me see if I got a couple more. So it says that was Romans 8:6. Don't be carnally minded. Let's see. Let me see. Real quick. Ecclesiasticus. Yeah, we probably do Ecclesiasticus. For gold is tried through the fire. Ecclesiasticus 2:2. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 2, in verse 2. Where am I? It says, set thy heart aright. It says, okay, hold on. We'll start at verse 1. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble. So don't be too quick to beat yourself up. You know what I mean? Whenever you feel like you're in a situation where you're in trouble, like don't be so quick to just, you know what I mean, turn against yourself. Like, oh yeah, well, this is just happening to me. This is just, you know what I mean, all these don't put yourself in that situation where you just are quick to just, you know what I mean, react as soon as something bad happens. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it as that, because you never know what the situation is and what that situation is going to lead you to. You know what I mean? Sometimes things are taken out of your life, or sometimes things are put into your life and may be uncomfortable to you, but are really things that are going to put you in a position where, you know what I mean, you're tried through the fire. You're going to be tried through the fire, and you're going to come out like gold. You know what I'm saying? So don't ever take in a situation. If you come to serve the Lord, it says prepare your soul for temptation. It's not saying when you come to serve the Lord, you're going to automatically become perfect and you're going to automatically become rich and famous and great, and you're going to always never have to go through the things that you went through in the world that used to come against you and depress you and come against you and come against your finances and come against, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't say any of those things. It says when you come to serve the Lord, prepare your soul for temptation. That means prepare yourself to be tested. You know what I'm saying? And that and take that in as, you know what I mean, that is the true way of coming to serve the Lord, is being put through those tests. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not being put through those tests, then you're really not receiving the experience of what Christ walked through on his day in and day life. You know what I'm saying? Because Christ sacrificed every day. You know what I mean? It wasn't just to his last day. He sacrificed his whole life. You know what I mean? It's not like Christ just was, you know what I mean, perfect. Well, Christ was perfect, but it wasn't like he just like didn't have to experience those thoughts and emotions that we go through. You know what I mean? The Bible says it behooved him to be made unlike to his brothers. So when you go through something, and when you're going through your trials and you're going through your fire, you got to think that this is the same feeling. This is the same thoughts that went through Christ's head as he was going through what he was going through, but he endured all the way to the end. He endured all the way to his death, from the beginning of his life to the end of his death. And he stayed perfect throughout his whole life. So you have to think, you know what I mean, whenever you got into this truth, it's your job to be perfect from that time to the day of your death. You know what I'm saying? To the day of your rest. You know what I'm saying? It's your responsibility for you to be to be perfect until that time period. You didn't have to endure from the time of your childhood, the time of your birth, all the way until the time of your death. You were in the world. You sinned. You were doing wrong things. You were doing drugs. You were robbing people. You were killing people. You were stealing. You were doing all these things under the sun that were wicked, that were sinful. You were living a sinful life. So when you got into the truth, regardless of whatever age that is now your time period to be born again and to now live your life out perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, real quick. Okay, so let's go to John 3 and 3. John 3 and 3. Let's see. All right. Book of John, chapter 3 and verse 3, it says, Yahweh answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. So you have to literally, Christ had to endure just like everyone else. Yeah, that's a fact. Christ endured, and not just that, Christ knew that he had to die. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean, that enduring, it becomes a lot more intense when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? When you know that you have to be the sacrifice for Israel, you know what I'm saying? That's when it becomes a situation like it's just like, you know what I mean? It's even heavier on you. You know what I mean? It's heavier on your heart, you know what I'm saying? On your spirit. But Christ still stayed thorough and still stayed perfect throughout his endeavors of his day-to-day life. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? What's our excuse? You know what I mean? Most of us come in here as adults. You know what I mean? We've already experienced the lifestyle of sin. You know what I'm saying? And it was obviously not enough for us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in here. You know what I'm saying? It obviously wasn't enough. It obviously wasn't something that we were, you know what I mean, we were obviously comfortable in, because if we were comfortable in it, we wouldn't have fought so hard to get out of it. But the thing about fighting so hard to get out of it, it's not like those things all just go away. You know what I'm saying? All those things don't just go away. There's going to be things that are still going to try to carry you back, hold you back. And that's the beauty of the situation, because as we suffer, you know what I'm saying? As we suffer day to day, as we sit here and go through our motions day to day of continuously fixing ourselves and, you know what I mean, fixing our mistakes and, you know what I mean, walking our paths out and learning from our mistakes and doing the right things from there and being able to be examples to others. You know what I mean, once all is said and done, you know what I mean, after all your troubles, after all your suffering, you know what I mean, once everything's all said and done and it comes to that time period where that sky cracks, where Yahweh and his army comes and they set havoc on this place, that, how can I say, that salvation is going to mean a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Because you know that all that suffering is over. You know that all that, you know what I mean, having to endure is done. All the struggles of, you know what I mean, people coming against you, things coming against you, you know what I mean, you know that now, you know what I mean, your army has came and now it's time for you, you know what I mean, now you're not facing those battles alone, you know what I'm saying? Now you're not facing those battles without some type of solution to it. Now we know what we hear and what we sacrificed, all is going to have its reward at the end of the day. But so I mean, if there's no questions, I mean, let me see if I got another scripture. But okay, so Christ is saying, "Be born again." And John 3 and what is that? 3 and 5. Otherwise, you can't see the kingdom of heaven. So it's not for you to sit there and have to keep enduring the same things. You have to be born again. You have to really change yourself. Change everything in your life that you feel like is unbearable to you, that you can't stop doing. You know what I'm saying? Change all those things, because all I know at the end of the day, the things that you feel like you can't control is the things that Satan is going to use as a weapon for you to make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? For you to make a mistake and for you to do the wrong thing. But all in all, that's pretty much all we got for today. Like I was saying before, you know what I'm saying, you make a mistake is not the end of you. Don't continue to keep making the same mistakes. You know what I'm saying? If you made a mistake and you deal with the consequence of that mistake, regardless of how that consequence happens, you're gonna have to bite that bullet. You know what I'm saying? Bite that bullet and move forward. But all in all, that's pretty much I got today. Shalom Israel, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatham to the brothers, Yahweh Shamar Thumb Hashem Yahushai to the sisters. The water for tuning in.